Welcome to the rather warm interior of my Jag. Now, I have this touchscreen set up in the Jag, and one thing it does miss is any kind of modern technology. I've got a mini disc player. Don't hear of them anymore. It does work as well. A lot of these have CD players. I've got a CD changer in the boot. Some of these came as cassette player as well. Remember cassettes? That's a blast from the past. Nothing modern. So what I bought is what they call a Jaguar audio control module, which is essentially this unit here. You say it came from my breakers. You can't buy these new anymore. This was £250, which is one of the cheapest I've seen. Now, being honest, I did buy one of these a few months back, and the module part of it was broken. But the seller wouldn't buy it back, so I've been looking out for another one. Bought this one, thankfully quite cheap. But because I bought one previously, a lot of the fitment is already in here. So, but I will talk you through that, talk you through the process. So today I will be fitting it. First thing we've got to do is remove my locking wheel nut key. Remove this. You can see this is the module fitted, and the idea is that you can switch between CD changer and this unit. So you've got an audio input, then you've got that one there, I believe is a bit more, that I think is a Ipod connector and USB connector. So I'll probably run the USB somewhere. I haven't quite decided. I want it to look quite smart, but run the USB somewhere, plug my phone in so I can play Amazon Music. So yeah, that's the plan there, but I'll show you how to fit that as we go through. So all of this has got to come off because we need to get to the back of the head unit. That just lifts out, and I understand some people you can fit these anywhere. Some people have fitted them underneath here, so if you are thinking of doing this, it's worth just removing your cup holder just to see if someone has fitted it below. So you've got some Torx screws there, and two in the front, just the one in the front, just the one there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove them. How it's wired, let's drill a hole in the front there, or wherever you want to mount it, and then yeah, I think it just screws in that way. Two screws on each side. And the cables you can see I've run through from the front, which I'll show you in a moment. That's your plug for your cigarette lighter. So that shows you that it's not necessarily actually needed for this part. Next thing I need to do is take all of this wood trim off, and if I put the car into neutral drive so the gear lever's out the way, the beeping will stop in a moment. I need to take out the ashtray, and this part here I think from memory just pops off, which I might have to get some. Oh, there we go. Just literally lift it up and get your fingers up behind it. Annoyingly, with these more modern Jags, you can see that they're not a wood laminate, but they're just a covered. They're not real wood anymore. I just noticed there's a crack in there. How annoying. So that now reveals the gear shifter, and what we're actually trying to do is take this whole head unit out. This trim here has to come off next, which I believe again is just clipped in. Oh, yes it is. So I'll move that out of the way as well. And that reveals the screws for this bottom panel here, which is this row of switches, your hazard lights and traction control, whatnot. And also hidden up behind there, you also have the screws for the head unit, and it's the head unit that we need to take out. So I need to find, I think they're T25 Torx bits. I'll go and grab them, and we'll remove that whole panel. Right, now that she's out, we can go through some of the wiring. So you can see the other end, we've got 3 wires here that come from the CD changer. Come from the unit that we've put in the actual control unit in the glove box. We've got a USB, a little like a SCART kind of thing, and this little 8-pin plug. They all plug in there, 8-pin plug. One of those SCART goes into one there, and the USB. And then on the end here, we've got this little 4-pin plug and the fibre optic plug. There's a little wiring loom comes with it, with 2 plugs. So we've got to unplug the wiring loom from the back of here. So this is like an extension. Plug that in, and then so plug one end into the unit, plug the other end into the harness there. We've then got this extra little wire. So it's a red, black and purple plug. That goes into the little plug on the end of there. And for the fibre optic side of things, we've got this extension loom. So they are all labelled. We've got one there says to the head unit. The other one goes to the CD changer. So unplug the fibre optic cable that's in here, and the head unit one goes in there. The other end of it goes in the to CD changer. And on the other end it says to ACM, and that plugs into the back of there, side of there. And that is literally the extent of the wiring. So we haven't got to run a new fibre optic cable to the boot. It literally piggybacks off what's already there. My CD changer doesn't work, which is really annoying. So this will probably stay permanently in ACM mode. And then this can stick anywhere. I think a lot of people, this has previously got some double-sided tape, so I'll probably peel that off, put some more on, and probably just attach it up here somewhere. I don't want to block the vents. I think that will probably fit sort of there. Make sure there's space in here. If not, it could go down behind the glove box. We've got a bit of space there. So a few options I'm going to have a play around with, and before I put the head unit back in, I will show you, which will be now. When you're pretty much done, you should have something that looks like a complete and utter mess and disaster, like I do. But we're all plugged in there. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plugs. I'm not sure which one of those goes in which one. I don't think it matters, because I think the other one is a spare if you want to add other bits on. So we're just going to go with that for now. You can see I've plugged the infrared cable in there. That's the to CD changer. That's the to head unit, and that's the ACM. So again, I need 2 hands to put it back together, because I've got this big main plug and that one there for the temperature sensor up top. These little 4 here. These 4 here are all for the back of that there, which I believe is to do with TV. Oh, I don't know. These ones aren't. Yeah, these are to the TV tuner. So technically, I don't even need to add them back on, because that doesn't work anymore. What else have I got? This little aerial here, which is literally the aerial on there. And what I'm going to do before I put everything back together, I am a firm believer of try it before you finish putting it back together. So I'm not going to screw it in, I'm just going to lay everything in. I won't even attach this. Or that I'm probably going to put behind the glove box. I think it's the best place for it. So we'll just tuck that down there first. Put everything in, put the battery back on, and then we'll see if it works. And there we go. We've got a little bit of music, should be playing in a minute. There we go. Bit of Walker, so turn it off before I get demonetized. So it's quite simple. You have to read the instructions, but there's, I think, track 1 of the CD changer button makes you skip a folder. So if we play and then skip to a different folder, and then it plays the hush sound. And then track 2, I think, was backwards. Yeah, back to Butch Walker. So yeah, that's taken me a long time of trying to make that work. So like a year, I think, but finally works. So happy with that. I need to fix the CD changer. I'm not even going to try and play that, because it'll probably screw everything up. So we're just going to leave that as it is. I have got an iPod, as I said, you can plug your iPod in. So I'm going to probably find my iPod that I haven't used for years, plug that in. I'm going to keep the other bits as a spare. So I've got that is spare. It's slightly different, this one. This one does have a light built into it, but annoyingly the tab's broken, so I might at some point replace that. It's also got a reset button. Might replace that because the switch feels better. So finally just wanted to show you where I put the actual control module. Where I stuffed it through behind the glove box, I've now put it, if I grab a light, I've taken this bit of this panel off, which is held in with one screw up this side here, and just swung it out the way. And if I move the camera slightly, just up there, you can see what I've done is pulled the carpet back slightly here and stuck it to the sort of transmission tunnel. So it should be a good place for it. It's up against, it's actually stuck onto the insulation there, so there shouldn't be any vibrations, or very little in the way of that to do any damage inside. And yeah, should work a treat. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.